one Sunday or one weekend, Father Driscoll was always looking for people to get involved, and he was carrying out a survey this particular weekend, and Pat happened to go to the Saturday evening Mass that weekend. The card got filled out and said, if you're absolutely desperate, then I will play the piano or play the organ for Mass, and signed my name to it. She was rushing home that night to tell me about what had taken place at church, but by the time she got home, Father Driscoll was already on the phone to me, thanking me for volunteering to do that. So that's how I got involved, and really it was, I guess I got volunteered, but it's one of the best things that ever happened to me. And the music ministry in the parish was very vibrant through those years. And it's one that I've grown with and thoroughly enjoyed.
My father sang in all men's choir, and that's kind of how I got started here, is that he was saying that there was nobody to play, and they were asking him if he knew anybody, and he said, well, my daughter plays the piano, and blah, blah, blah. That's how I kind of got roped in that way to playing for the choir.
We had the cream of the crop in the diocese. I'm thinking of the drama group, Madeline LeRue and Nancy Mailman and all that crowd putting on plays. I'm thinking of Eddie Gillis and Paul Benoit with their choirs. I mean, we just had so many people involved that it would be unusual to run into someone not involved.
Music and drama was big. Absolutely. And now Father Craig Cameron, I remember him being in a musical when he was probably in grade 7. It was really wonderful. There were just some powerful presentations, and you know, the people who were leading it, Betty Gillis and many of the other leaders were there, and it was really quite powerful. It engaged the whole parish. And
once we moved into the new church, we started doing 2 shows a year, one at Easter and one at Christmas.
The first show we had was specially for shepherds. It was great, and it got such a response that we had a meeting after and at Claude's house, and we decided that we should go on.
Heaven stood in hushed anticipation. The moment of all time would soon begin. The Father turned to look at his creation. A fallen world, a hopeless cry of sin.
As the years went on, and I'm thinking more of the 70s, 80s, 90s, we had Father Claude McLean, Father Bernie O'Neill, Father Owen Connolly, Joe Christensen too was there. But of course, one of the greatest motivators was Claude Lachance. Mm-hmm. He motivated people to be in music, to do other things.
We ended up having a substantial band with the choir. And Claude Lachance, when he started, of course, he was a STAD band member, and his recruiting was to go to his band members and invite them to church.
Claude came when I was about 16, and I just remember a knock on the front door at my house, and I went to the door, and this man was standing there, and he said, "Are you Betty Gillis?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "You play the organ?" And I said, "At St. John Vianney?" And I said, "Yes." And that was, the rest is history.
And at one point he said, "Why don't you write something to me?" And I said, "Geez, I don't know." So I took his suggestion seriously and began to compose music for the church. And it turned out that I did have a bit of a bent for that.
Because he just assumed that you could do it. He just assumed. And he assumed that if he assumed that, then meant that you assumed it too. And I saw him do it to many people because you respected him so much. you figured he knew what he was talking about. So if he thought you could do it, then, well, maybe I can.
He drew you in as part of a family, you know? And that's how he got people. He got people into things they didn't even know they could do. It was Colin McGilvery who told me that he said, you know, if it wasn't for Claude, I wouldn't be here. And you kept hearing that. You kept hearing that. He was open to people. And he was a character.
Reach out and touch someone. Our music is more than singing. Reach out and touch someone. There's a message in what we sing. We pray to God in many ways, in words and harmony. Reach out to his people in your ministry. Music's a way to teach. Reach out and touch someone. Our music is more than singing. Reach out and touch someone. There's a message in
I am so glad that my Father in heaven tells of his love in the book he has given. Walking with my Savior, I know I'm free at last. Arm and grow on, all for Mary's wedding.
The Congress in 1989 at the Metro Center, music from people in this parish and people from all over Halifax Diocese. At that time it was called Halifax Diocese. And a script was put together by Darla Scott. And Claude was involved in that. He directed he had a string group, orchestra called it, and he directed them and I directed the choir. And the choir was made up of people from all over the Archdiocese.
Some of my earliest memories are singing in the choir with Claude Lachance back in the day when we had the uniforms. And we all had the navy blue pants and the navy blue vest, and the kids choir used to sit in the front of the adult choir, and we had separate practices in the afternoons, which was always a lot of fun.
Friends of ours who lived across the street that also came to this church, they prompted me to come join the choir because I used to sing a choir before we were married, and I was part of Paul's choir, and then later on I was part of Daniel's choir, and kind of started there.
Make us your holy people, light for the world to see. Christ be our light, shine in our hearts, shine through the darkness. Christ be our light.
It really brought me out of my shell and gave me a comfort in something that I never thought that I would be comfortable in. And it, like I said, it just opened up a whole new world. It was a great way to express my faith, and it's still the easiest way for me to express my faith and my belief is through my music.
Your words alone has power to save us. Make us your